I think I definitely come from a place of privilege because I have a wonderfully supportive family who have, even though they were not next to me physically, they were in the other side of the world when I was especially undergoing surgery and things like that. I always knew that they were there. So for all of those who are experiencing the physical lack of support, given that they're separated from their loved ones, always know that someone out there loves you, is praying for you, is rooting for you to come out as your best self. Okay, even if it's not your old self, you will come out of this as your best self, because now you have control over what you do in a actually chaos less environment where you can focus on what you're actually interested in. Now, if somebody is truly doesn't have family, for example, or doesn't have a sibling or whatever, usually most people do find family as in what they call family, like their friends. And I think people have friends like family. I think now is not the time to feel shy and to be reticent. I think now would be the right time to reach out to people. And if you need to talk to someone, if you need help, if you need to hear from someone that everything's being okay, then please reach out and do so. Please reach out and do so. I know people aren't allowed to really meet and move about or whatever, but make full use of your Skype or your Zoom calls or your Facebook and whatever it is, and and I honestly believe that there are lots of solid relationships, which may not be your main support system, that may actually come back to life at this time if we only reach out. So I'll tell you, for myself, I've spent this time reaching out to a lot of people who thought I just went missing for 10 years because I just got busy, right? As we all tend to do, which is really no excuse. But I reached out to so many of my older friends, and now we're talking pretty much every day. And and many people who perhaps maybe have not, because in an Indian context, often, like for me, my parents are like my best friends, but that's because we don't experience a generation gap. But in an Indian context, they often do. I think now might be a good time for people to reach out to their parents and try to make friends with them, because they also are going through the same level of uncertainty. And because often people don't call their parents because they don't want to get nagged. But I would say give it a chance and try to reestablish old relationships, things that have sort of got lost in the hurry and the hustle and bustle of city life as it is. And just remember that it doesn't have to be a blood relative who will turn out to be your next best friend. And be okay. And I have a very sort of non-judgmental evolutionary approach to support systems, because I believe people make fantastic friends. People also outgrow each other. These things happen. So I think you need to sort of live and move on as you grow. And there are certain people you're going to connect to in this scenario who are going to be similar to you, and certain people that you're not. And that's okay. Nurture the relationships that feel right for you. And I think I think whoever it is will make it very safely onto the other side. And whichever version of themselves they are, I'm sure it will be for the better.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this very refreshing and warming answer. At the end of it, I'd just like to ask you if there's anything else that you'd like to add, you'd like to address. More than welcome to do it.
Yeah, no, just extremely privileged and honored to be here with you today and answering these questions. Speaking is such a fantastic platform. So I've always, been a big fan, and I'm getting an opportunity. For me, this is something very exciting that I've been able to do. And this was on my, pandemic bucket list. And now it's like hopefully ticked off, and maybe we can do it again as well. So what I want to reach out and tell people is, trust me, what I want to say, and maybe I have not been able to cover that, is that feeling sad is normal. Feeling grief is normal. Feeling upset is normal. Acknowledge it, sit with it, and then let it go. The thing is, I always say, when sadness comes to your door, give it a cup of coffee and send it away. Don't give it the keys to your house. Right? I'm not somebody who's going to say, oh, sadness doesn't exist, you're never going to feel sad, just force yourself to feel happy. Happiness is just, it's just what? Endorphins at the end of the day, right? So just keep doing things that inspire you, that make you excited, that will make you laugh. And, don't take, and I think we all tend to take ourselves very seriously. Nobody can do anything now. Nobody. Even the government leaders are also limited. So I think maybe it's time to sort of understand that, don't live for somebody else. You don't have to be happy or sad or any state on the continuum because someone else is looking at you. For once, no one else is looking. Enjoy this fact. that you can be who you are. And if you want to, if you're feeling low, feel it and let it go. But I do believe that I think often, a lot of times during this stressful time, people have made sadness and grief into a permanent partner. There's nobody else to live with. Now I've invited sadness and grief to sit and, turn into my roommate. Don't do that. It's a very evil visitor. Give it coffee and always send it away. This is always my point of view. And in conclusion, I would like to say that, life is, have you ever watched a boxing match? When you look at Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali or whatever, we don't remember them necessarily for their amount of knockouts. We remember them for the amount of times they got back up. And it is how long you last in the ring that is going to be, a testament to the life you have lived. Good, bad, or ugly, live it. It's not always going to be perfect, but make it well spent. Make it active, make it something that you create within whatever circumstances. And if there is something you can't change, for example, like I always say this in many of my speeches, I lost most of my eyesight that day and I never got it back, right? So I can't drive, but I would definitely want to work as hard as I can to have, a driver and a car to drive me around. There's always a second best option. Rather than we sit and mourn the first option that floated away, there's always a second and a third and a fourth, or I can go live in a city like New York where nobody drives a car, right? There are many ways to get to Rome. So I'm just saying, like, try not to let sadness turn into the central, Shakespearean act of this entire chapter. This is but a chapter and it will pass. And just make sure that, either which way, it's your story. Please write it. Please write it.